We should hope not for a colorblind society, but instead for a world in which we can see each other fully, learn from each other, and do what we can to respond to each other with love. That was King's dream. A society that is capable of seeing each of us as we are with love. That is the goal worth fighting for. That was a quote from the book The New Jim Crow. Hi, my name is Vanessa Lamb, and I will be talking about mass incarceration caused by discrimination. Mass incarceration is the United States' primary form of rehabilitation. The reason why I say rehabilitation with quotation marks is because it doesn't, in fact, rehabilitate at all. A lot of minorities who have been incarcerated come out with worse issues than they had when they were incarcerated, such as mental illnesses, diseases such as HIV and AIDS due to the conditions of the prison and the things that they endure while in prison. It is also found that once African Americans and Latinos come out of jail, they have a hard time finding jobs, adequate housing, getting their education. Today, it is perfectly legal to discriminate against criminals in nearly all the ways that it was once legal to discriminate African Americans. Once you're labeled a felon, the old forms of discrimination, employment discrimination, housing discrimination, denial of the right to vote, denial of educational opportunities, denial of food stamps, and other public benefits, and exclusion from jury services are suddenly legal. Because of that, once you get out of jail, you're not able to kickstart your life. Your life doesn't continue. If anything, your life is halted unless someone is willing to give you an opportunity to continue, unless someone is willing to look past what you went to jail for and your mistakes, which a lot of people aren't willing to do. Because of this, it is hard to find jobs, housing, and to continue your education. And then it becomes a spiral effect. When you're in a household and you're not able to provide or you're not able to work on yourself and become a better person, that causes chaos among the household, which then the children see, which then trickles down to the children, which then causes the children to act up, which then causes incarceration by the child, which is then it becomes a never-ending cycle of jail, incarceration, reproduction, jail, incarceration, reproduction. It's a never-ending cycle. Jails are built on the back of African Americans and Latinos. It is found that African Americans and Latinos are the primary races that are incarcerated today, and some of them are serving lengthier sentences than their counterparts for petty crimes such as burglary, but not armed burglary, and drug charges, whereas their white counterparts serve lesser sentences for harder things such as rape and murder and assault, but they may receive shorter sentences versus minorities. Mass incarceration caused by discrimination is an issue that has been all over the news recently. But had this issue been talked about sooner, maybe it would have been prevented. People love to talk about mass incarceration, but they don't do anything to prevent mass incarceration. I find this issue particularly interesting because as an African American woman growing up in society with two older brothers, my parents often talked about getting arrested, what to do when the cops pull you over, how the system isn't in the favor for black men, how when you were born, you already have two strikes against you, one because you're black and one because you're male, and then the third strike is the one that will put you away forever, even if you never had a record before that. They don't care. Mass incarceration is something that needs to be continued to talk about, both by politicians and influencers who should come together and fix this issue. In closing, mass incarceration caused by discrimination not only affects African Americans, but it also affects Latinos, and it not only affects the people that are incarcerated, but their families in society. Thank you.